In pomp, color and dance, the groom's entourage shook Uhuru Park on 27th April 2017 as the 5 NASA principals, all dressed in white, ready to officiate their wedding union. Fast forward to August 2021, a messy but silent divorce was done. The grooms in different colors and with lesser numbers. The story of the political marriage that couldn't last, alleged to be ended because of bedroom mistrust and family sharing of fans. Will the NASA coalition be rebirthed behind a new name ahead of 2022? But what is already being bathed in the eye of the public is a seemingly rift between the state and the deputy president. Should more be read on his airport standoff to Uganda? But back to succession. Is Deputy President William Ruto's bottom-up economic model that continues to be a subject of intense debate attainable in the current economic status?
Today, each party has officially notified the registrar of political parties of their decision to leave NASA.
It cannot be NASA Part 2. On a more serious note, this is One Kenya Alliance.
We not just want to engage with any other Kenyan. We want to engage with Kenyans who have the history of supporting others. Kenyans who have the integrity to lead this country, not just any other Kenyan.
We're here as One Kenya Alliance to give meaning to life for Kenyans.
To formally exit the NASA coalition. The NEC has further deliberated on the future of the party and its need to make new friends. We intend to embark on a program to build new partnerships and extend the ongoing talks with our potential partners.
And to have this special State of the Nation discussion on our first show of the month, in studio we have economist and Nambale Member of Parliament and ANC party member Sakwa Bunyasi. He is also in the Budget and Appropriations Committee member in the National Assembly. Bunyasi has also been appointed in the One Kenya Alliance Working Technical Committee. We also have Kaiti Member of Parliament Joshua Kimilu, who will be joining us shortly, elected under the Wiper Democratic Movement Kenya, who will be occupying that empty seat in a short while. We are also very happy to have Gabriel Muthama, a political analyst and governance expert. My name is Lincoln Wambogo, sitting in for Frederick Moitiriri, and our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. Engages live on our WhatsApp line number 0785-939529, 0785-939529. On Twitter as Switch TV Kenya, and at Lincoln Wambogo using the hashtag tipping point. Gentlemen, thank you for creating time, shall we?
Lincoln, thanks for having us.
Anytime. One Kenya Alliance, Bunyasi, you in the Working Technical Committee. Gabriel, thank you
I'm
for
not on the
creating time.
technical committee. I am on the policy political side, the negotiating side.
Thank you for that clarification. Can One Kenya Alliance survive without Raila Odinga? You've already invited him, Bunyasi.
Yes. Any alliance can last without anybody else. I mean, they do. Lasting they will. But I think the intent here is to build as wide a base as possible. Unfortunately, I said personally I feel it's unfortunate that the call-ins, people that are being called in by name or enticed by name, are not enough explanation of what it is that would bind them. And so whether it would last or not would depend to what extent they negotiate a joint policy platform or the lack of it. If there isn't, then it will just be a temporary union, come we stay. But if they are able to get a unified policy position that they could work with, there is a chance of a marriage. Even the best marriages can still end up in divorce, but at least there must be some compatibility.
Gabriel.
Well, it's open season, and I've been telling people this is where you do your trade-offs. I was glad to actually, see Mheshimiwa, and I'm glad. I think he's going to be able, and we pray rather, he's going to be able to put a formidable team together. But more than that, I think, Clinton, what we need to pay attention to, and I keep telling people, every time you have a candidate or in a coalition saying that we are going to form a coalition, and from here we will bring out our presidential candidate, I keep telling people, and this one I must insist, throughout history, any person who comes to the stage of wanting to run as a president, they have a mathematical chance of winning that seat. It only depends on the strategies you employ and the people you bring on board. That is what presents, or that is actually the substance of winning a presidential election. Remember, in 2013, and Mheshimiwa will tell you, the two likely candidates, His Excellency President Uhuru and Deputy President William Ruto, they were the most unlikeliest, of the two, of the duo, but they were able to put and marshal up a team of individuals who had great strengths in campaigns, and look at what they built. They built a serious political machinery that actually gave them the win. So when you see people coming together and, you know, trying to put the puzzles in, you know, sometimes don't laugh at them. In governance, you just watch from a distance and say, you know what, I think they've come up with a formidable team, but don't be cheated. Every person coming into that floor, they have a mathematical chance of becoming president.
Mathematical chance. Yes,
Yes,
long-time economist.
Yes,
The
yes.
mathematics in One Kenya Alliance.
The math is being built up in the sense that it's a series of now that some of them I use the mathematical imagery.
Something that you like very much.
A series of algebraic equations,
Right.
one that defines one part, another part, and you put them all together, and then you try and get a solution out of it. But I think what is happening that in the background, and that's how I was off screen, I was saying we have a technical committee that is working as I speak. I think there are 9 in Mombasa. It's a formidable team of people with diverse interests and diverse knowledge who will formulate a position from which then the political class can begin to come and either poke holes into it or add to it, and then finally it can then be confronted to the principals who would begin to confirm the mathematical chances, as he said. You never know who is elected. As you're right, once you offer yourself out to the people, there is always a chance that you would get somebody who follows you. I mean, just as an anecdote, in the 2013 election, there was Mwalimu Dida. And everyone was saying, oh, well, he's just filling up numbers and so on. But I had people in my constituency, without exaggerating, maybe 3 or 4 people who said they voted for Dida.
Exactly.
I said, why? Oh, they were impressed with his answers. It was straight to the point. It spoke to what they wanted to hear. And so he's right. There's always a chance. Now, how you build that up to an overall win or a bigger win, then that's the question now. And that's what we'll be working on.
Gentlemen, talking about months, looking at old NASA, 5 principles, and 3 have gone into One Kenya Alliance. 1 ODM party leader Raila Odinga and his party still outside. 1 seems to have joined William Ruto. Now, this month, isn't this One Kenya Alliance? Isn't this NASA just having another new name, Gabriel?
I'll tell you something that I've observed throughout history, and this is something that our viewers should always put in their back burners. We've had great parties and we've had great coalitions. I'm one of those people who have always supported great coalitions, because once you build up a coalition, what you're trying to tell people is, you're trying to divorce yourself from that singular party of, Bwana Wambogo, you are the party leader, your brother, Bwana Ngugi, is the deputy party leader. And so it becomes really a tribal, party, if you will. But when you go and look for other partners who are almost equal-minded as you are, they believe in the very same thing that you are selling, and to the people you try to marinate your ideas with the people, and you bring to them a coalition, and you tell them, we have a problem in this country, these are the ideas that I feel we should use to springboard to leadership, and once we get it, we will not leave you. We are going actually to apply the very same thing we are selling. Well, that appears like a good story, but that in essence is why coalitions should be built. The thing I keep insisting that we should have great coalitions is because me, you and Mheshimiwa, we should be joining coalitions on parties based on their ideologies, based on what they sell. And once we are able to configure ourselves in what they've told us, we hold them to account that they'll be able to deliver that which they've sold it to us. And so it does not end, and this is where I'm coming now to your question, it does not end by a coalition. Just forming a coalition isn't enough, Bonobogo. You need to have a way in which that coalition or party is answerable to her members, because that is how you build a coalition. Otherwise, we'll be treated to what we are seeing. Just a party that takes us to one election and then it's no longer there. I remember after 2017, and Mheshimiwa is here, bear me witness, immediately the NASA brigade failed to capture what they had thought they would get. I remember their SG came out and really used some very harsh, strong words to the other 3 principles. And I remember he went to almost an extent of calling them leeches or something, parasites. In fact, that's the word he used. And they started throwing banters at them. Oh, where were you guys when we were in Uhuru Park swearing in? And I was like, wow, where were they? Why are you telling us that what they were doing was a legality? All right. So I also still think there were issues of trust, like Mheshimiwa is saying. And when you have issues of trust in any coalition, then I think it's just an accident looking for a place to happen.
Gabriel, in the same breath of analyzing coalitions and political parties, would you describe NASA as a great coalition?
Tell you what, NASA was a great coalition. Jubilee was a great coalition. If you looked at their manifestos, if you ever read them, they were talking, there were major stuff, written therein. And if they were to work fervently grounded on that promise, my friend, things would be different. Let me tell you, you saw a young man, and this is another jurisdiction, you saw a young man called Barack Obama sail through with Obamacare, pivoted on changing the health landscape of the United States. And guess what? He succeeded. All right? It was in his manifesto, Mheshimiwa. And when it came down to being employed, it was employed with the best abilities. It functioned. He never left it. And that is what I'm saying. Once you have, Linton, once you have a manifesto and your coalition is in place and you've given people the promise, the best you can do so that we can be all in one port of understanding that you can promise something to people and deliver through a coalition. Great coalitions, they will always be. Once you put your word into it and put the spirit behind it, and whatever you promise people you are able to deliver, then all these coalitions can be great.
Thank you, Gabriel. Bonyasi, do you share with Gabriel that both NASA and Jubilee were great coalitions?
Yes, I think they were great coalitions, each in their own way and for their own reason.
Then what happened?
First of all, just like I'll give an answer like Senator Tangula did during the press conference. The press asked him, they said, would you accept Raila back in? Is this marriage going to last and so on? And his answer was that Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, 5-time husband, they fell in love, they married, they divorced, fell in love 5 times.
Yes.
Okay. And then he didn't say anything else. I think that, for me, that was a very adequate answer for going forward. But coming from where we were, first of all, my colleague has talked about the issue of having an ideology, harmonizing your manifesto. I also hinted on that earlier. But I want to give you an example of what should not happen. When I used, in my earlier professional career, you go around countries, you talk to governments. I was working with the World Bank, and you were saying, we agreed on this policy position. Do you have it in place? She says, oh, yes, I have it in place. It's in the file. They send someone to go and bring a file. And then they pull it out and give you a copy. But the person is not articulating that policy. The person is not speaking the language of that policy. For them, achievement is what they have. And probably you actually do find people have worked hard on it, but nobody understands it. They say that it's not on their fingerprints. Finger points. You have to go back to the file to find it. Similarly with the coalitions. If it's all putting it together, each other's manifestos, and you get someone to cut and paste and then you file them away, that doesn't help. You must share.
Correct.
You must have it you must have a feel for it. And in the case of the Jubilee, what I think was one very important political ideology that brought them together was, of course, the ICC and the idea of sort of standing up to the bullies out of the Hague. And many Kenyans bought into that. They said, we are not going to allow us to be bullied. Let us tell them that we're going to produce the very guys they're looking for and put them in front. And they did that. That really did unite them. The economic policy, I think, was not fully integrated. I think they had elements, they wanted to do the best of what they thought Kibaki had done, which was infrastructure. But the Kibaki also had, within infrastructure, he had harmonized socio-economic policies in a way that people began to feel that this is a different take from the previous one. Of course, he had a lot of goodwill when he began, Mheshimiwa Kibaki. He ended with a lot of it still. So this team picks up that bit. And that's how we have got now our SGRs, and we have got our flyovers, and they have many dams, and so on and so forth. But what did not happen then is infusing this with the part that brings in Wanjiku and Mamamboga and so on. Make them feel that the highway they see out there has made a difference to them. If they don't, then I don't know who, only a few people will see it, and many people will remain unhappy. You heard earlier what I was saying, we have 5-6% growth, we can't feel it. Even in Parliament, my colleagues would ask, says, you're one of these economists around here who is misleading us. The economists don't say the right thing. How can we be growing at 6? Tell me. And yet, we feel a severe economic pinch. Now, that they were not relating to. Of course, you can grow your economy with building big dams and big and roads and ports and so on. But if there is no activity around it from which incomes radiate, people still are going to have difficulty. Were these great coalitions? I think they were. NASA came up determined that they are now going to win with such a large margin that they would not face the marginal decision question like happened in 2007. And I think to a large extent that kind of worked with our internal issues. The issues of trust have been brought out and so on. And I think the nail on the coffin was indeed that coronation business, it was not called coronation, it was called the oath taking in Uhuru Park and so on. And you can imagine now the hindsight, and this is clearly wisdom of hindsight, that on the last day of January, which was 31st, when when Raila was being, well, what's the right word for it, coronated president of Kenya, it was about 5 weeks before the handshake. And when the handshake came and they began to explain, they said this had been in the offing for months. Meaning that by the time people were doing this thing in Uhuru Park, the understanding to come together and have a handshake was already underway. In fact, I must say, must have been well underway, because they could have done it in 5 weeks, given the appearance of difference that there seemed to be. But it was only a veneer. Underneath, there are people talking and talking. So you could see the trust deficit, that you don't share that.
Yes.
No matter how good thing you have, if you don't tell your wife and you only announce it on the day it's happening, she probably not think you've been just pretending to be who you are not and so on. And those are deficit issues. Therefore, in coalitions, apart from harmonizing what we have both agreed, my colleague, that you harmonize policy positions so that you are talking and feeling the same thing, you must also harmonize your trust levels. You must transparency, openness, and so on. Value things now that come in handy. You need a clear position on how you treat corruption, for example, not just by legislation, but determination that indeed you will allow institutions to work. And you should ask each other, if it happened to one of us, would that break our coalition? They would have to say no. You would have to part your way and go. I might be pushing that bit too far, but the point must be that you must come out agreeing with each other what you'll do about key issues of the day. Corruption. 2, can we cut public debt so that our economy, we can begin to stabilize our economy in a sense that it works for everybody. And so you must agree on those fundamentals. Don't say we are social or Christian Democrats or this. No, that's completely irrelevant. In fact, those kinds of big words hide a real conversation. The real conversation is, what are we going to do that will reach Mamamboga, reach the other, reach Wanjiku and so on. I know I'm going too far. Let me just say one more thing. Because of the need to agree on the critical social and policy questions, people would want to say, and that's what they will say in my village, me at the end of of the road here, we down here, shall we ever be reached? Who cares for us? They can't get their kid into primary school because of an exercise book and pens and so on. Others can actually fly a kid into high school. You can see that contrast, and that's what creates a problem for us. That's what strains even these coalitions. People are not going to talk about it openly, because there are these extremes that you are tolerating. Once they are discussed, even if you are discussing in the back room, but when you come out, you must have agreed what the minimums would be. You must walk the talk. If you don't walk the talk, the thing will break.
It's over. Gabriel, Bunyosi has just spoke of trust, and that maybe is what ended the NASA marriage. But the One Kenya Alliance with Wiper, ANC, and Ford Kenya, and of course KANU, have already extended political goodwill to ODM. So what is going to be the difference? Is it going to be now plus KANU minus CCM?
Linton, I think the major difference will be Honorable Raila, you're welcome back, but you can't be the leader.
But you can be the leader.
You cannot be the leader. They won't allow. Because like you said, why then? Why did they, the marriage break? Yeah, right? Why was there a breakup? You see, something must precede the excitement of breaking up NASA. And that has to be, we've rearranged ourselves now. Remember, back in the day when we were forming NASA, you were the head honcho. You were the one we were supporting. You actually and Kalonzo Musyoka were the flag bearers, right? But now, this time round, we've sorted our mess. We have One Kenya Alliance. We're inviting you in. You may be a stakeholder, but probably we will not give you that seat. And I believe, honestly, from where I'm seated, politically, you know, and you can ask any person who probably may share this view, you're inviting Honorable Raila back to that coalition, but you're kind of telling him slyly, you know, you can just come be a stakeholder, but you are not going to be the flag bearer.
But clearly, Gabriel and Bunyasi.
And that was in writing.
That was in writing.
in the understanding of in the agreement of NASA in 2017, that after they had agreed, we went through a process. I was on the selection committee together, Honorable Rengo and Mdama, Senator Mdama, and one more colleague from Fort Kenya. And the understanding finally, which was brought in by the principals and was signed on by everybody, was that in 2022, the intention was that NASA would last beyond the next election. That in 2022, ODM and its ODM will not put up a candidate for presidency. Clearly, we are saying we have given you this chance, Mheshimiwa Raila, but there will not be a candidate, or your party will not provide a candidate in 2022. Essentially, you would allow the thing, not rotate, at least move one more step sideways, whichever it is going to move. But of course, clearly, the moment the elections did not came out as they did, as you said correctly, Mr. Duma, the words that were used among partners were completely unprintable, and thereby began the slow process of divorce.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, Gabriel. Is Deputy President William Ruto a victim of the state? Is Deputy President William Ruto a victim of the state? Speak to us and send your feedback on our WhatsApp number 0785-9395, 0785-939529. This topic is, of course, in relation to the discussion we are about to have on the Deputy President William Ruto's standoff at the airport. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a short while. Welcome back. You're watching Tipping Point. I'm Lincoln Wumbogo. Is a deputy president a victim of the state? Is Deputy President William Ruto a victim of the state? Speak to us and send your feedback on our WhatsApp number 0785-939529. 0785-939529. Gentlemen, we spoke of mistrust. We spoke of unprintable words against the other three NASA core principles. Now, flashback. In 2017, Raila Odinga said that this might be his final bullet. His words were, "This is my final bullet." Now, political goodwill extended from One Kenya Alliance to ODM. Gabriel, you're saying the terms are, Raila, you cannot be president. Come, but you cannot be president.
Correct.
The only person who I think who has not said that he announced that he will run for presidency is Moses Wetangula.
Right.
Lincoln party leader wants to be president.
Yes.
Kalonzo Musyoka wants to be president. Are we looking at a crisis in One Kenya Alliance? Is a crisis likely to ensue?
Lincoln, no. And the reason why I'll say no is, first of all, the formation of One Kenya Alliance, as Mheshimiwa has told us, they are talking. They are continuing to talk. There is a conversation. Now, in coalitions, at the end of the day, if our constitution continues to be as is, I can guarantee you they will come to a truce. All coalitions do. All coalitions do.
Who among them will eat the humble pie and say,
you will take a step back. You will be forced to. You'll be forced to, because at the end of the day, you have, like you've put it clearly, you have Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, you have Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, you have Honorable Wetangula, and now they are inviting Honorable Raila Odinga, and still you probably have Honorable Gideon Moi, Senator Gideon Moi. You know very well that only two candidates will make to the top echelon, the president and the deputy president. Those are the only two seats that are carved. So you have about 4 people, 5 probably they may come. They know very well that those 2 seats can only be occupied by 2 individuals, and that's why I'm saying they will find a way. There is going to be a truce, and this is where you I think you saw even in 2013 you had other people within the realms of Jubilee. I'm just giving you an example of Jubilee. You had so many people within the periphery. You had the likes of Charity Ngili, had the likes of Balala, and others who are within what you call the inner circle. But when it came, when push came to shove, it's only 2 people, and they understood, right? And also in NASA, you had Musalia Mudavadi in, you had Honorable Wetangula in, you had various other people who formed the inner circle, but only Raila Odinga and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka were running for the 2. So I can guarantee you there is still conversations happening, and Mheshimiwa can actually probably give us more meat on this.
That's actually what I want, Mheshimiwa. But you're in the inner circle of One Kenya Alliance. What's cooking?
I think it's a mathematical problem that has a solution.
What's the solution? Let's start with the problem.
Sometimes there are some mathematical problems that have not had a solution, and that people are still studying them and so on. But this is one that has a solution. And I think a solution is going to be achieved through incremental wins, win-win situations incrementally. If you had to win today or yesterday, if you had to do what the press expects to happen, you would have to go in there and say, oh, you are the one. And I'm told that there was a time when that's what happened, but that's very rare. So what's going to happen is these discussions are going to build up a momentum in which they will be able to get to a point and agree among themselves with the support of the teams that are working with them as for who should lead, looking not only at themselves but looking at what goal you want to achieve, what hurdles are likely to lie in your way. Each one of them brings in opportunities and perhaps baggage, and then looking also at the population and saying who of these would be our best bet in reaching out to the people. Not who of you is better than the other, no, but who of you is going to be our best bet in reaching out and in pulling people from diverse backgrounds around this republic. And also, you've been harping on this question. I think I better comment on it quickly. Why are they inviting in Mheshimiwa Raila? He would expect, as he comes in, as you said correctly, that if he comes in, he would like to be president. That would not be one. That will create a situation where the mathematical problem does not have a solution internally. It would have to have a solution elsewhere. And I think what's likely is that the people who are proposing that, even the president himself seems to be saying he wants everybody on together. Let the DP go his way, but the rest of you please come together. They are looking at a problem different from one of simply winning an election. I think they're looking at a problem of creating a winning momentum against perhaps another idea that they would like, that it does not see light of day. I think it's more complicated. We can get into that detail. So if Mheshimiwa Raila would accept to join One Kenya Alliance, he would of course be saying he's prepared to serve in any capacity in there other than that of presidency.
Now, gentlemen, you've already talked to the Deputy President, William Ruto, and he's on one side with his UDA. Now, One Kenya Alliance, among the principals, Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi have come out clean. Or among our agendas, maybe even main agenda, is beating William Ruto, taking down UDA. Is that what really Kenyans want?
Lincoln, on that one, I think, and I'm glad Mheshimiwa is here, so probably if they are not watching this, he can pass along this message. Your agenda cannot be to beat somebody else.
Absolutely.
No, never make it. Right? And if you are going to actually run that narrative, this is the earliest opportunity to abort it. You cannot run on really a national agenda. I mean, you're talking about a great country right now which is projected to advance. Like in Mheshimiwa have done a great job. You know, let's be honest. And you want to reduce that advance to one individual, to beat one individual. I mean, Lincoln, look. I mean, just look at that statement. You are actually trailing and putting your sights, training your sights to beat somebody through, you know, your agenda. You're saying our whole agenda will be. I mean, how will you even start? Because the best that you can do, the better. I mean, the best you can equip yourself with is to just nullify what he says. What will you do? He says a statement, you go counter that statement. You're going to follow this man through his entire campaign trail to just do one thing and one thing only, to decampaign him? No. You'd rather pick an agenda. And let me tell you, I think they are smart people. They are smart guys. When you look at the likes of Musalia Mudavadi, these are great economists. When you look at Wetangula, when you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, these are great people. So I don't think they are going to really build. And I don't know why they say that statement. I don't know why Honorable Kalonzo said that statement. And probably he may take it back sooner than later, because I don't see him doing that. It is going to take a lot of energy. It is going to sap every living ounce on energy in you if you're going to do that. You'd rather take that energy, concentrate it on great, real agendas that are happening on the ground. Talk about issues that are consuming energy. Talk about the economy that you're talking about. Come up with COVID answers. Tell us how we are going to come out of this mess. Tell us about our economy. Tell us how you're going to progress on the Big Four agenda. Great stuff. People are going to listen to you. But if you're going to train your sights on an individual, you've already lost before you started.
Gabriel thinks you've already lost before you started.
Yeah, and I
just a minute. William Ruto has already come up with his agenda, bottom-up economy, and he's selling it. We are yet to hear One Kenya's agenda. And not beating William Ruto.
Okay. Let me say two things. Allow me first just to pick up very quickly on the issue of beating Ruto. I agree with his thrust of discussion that really you never do that. Yeah. That's not the way to do it. I was going to liken it to a game of golf, that when you go to a golf course, I and Dhuba could be playing, but I'm not playing to beat him. I'm playing to manage the course, to beat the course and get my score. That's a good example. I may be playing in team 1 or team 2. I mean, how you start on hole 1 or hole 5. We are so far apart, even going in different directions. And we are competing knowing that if I can manage this course well and get the points I want, I'm praying that he doesn't manage the course as well. But I'm not, aiming to beat him. I don't try and get longer than he does, because I don't know where he's playing. He's playing at 2 miles away from me. Correct. I think that's what those are statements that people make in politics, and they will quickly get away from that. Bottoms up First of all, I think, let's put it that way, bottoms up. It's become the...
But he said bottom up.
Actually, the right word should be bottom up economics. This has been around for a while. It got currency when Ronald Reagan was running the U.S. And Ronald came from the corporate America, and he believed that if you get the corporate side doing well, investing, and people are getting jobs, the benefits will trickle down and everybody will get a bit of it, and so on. That's where you go. Then his opponent, Bush Sr., comes up and says, voodoo economics. It never gets down, never trickles down. You have to go bottom up. You have to do things that affect the ordinary person, the base, and that only that way then would incomes accrue to households, the poor, the rest of it. Perhaps the truth, like many things, these are two extremes, one at the top and the bottom, may lie in the middle. But what should not happen, and I better say, now I get a chance to say this, I thought that the response to DP Ruto's bottom-up policy and the wheelbarrow things was, the reaction was wrong. People even went as far as checking dictionary meanings of words and so on, and ridiculing that we are in a digital economy and you're talking about giving a wheelbarrow. I think that was wrong. It was a theory. It is a theory. We know that the only way to defeat a theory is to have a better one.
Correct.
Yes.
To describe something that is even more appealing. Appealing is the key word. The wheelbarrow thing was appealing to many people who are at the bottom of the ladder. And in a COVID era, they really felt like this. You can't get any lower than that. Even a wheelbarrow becomes a big deal for them. But now you have to have an alternative theory that is more appealing than the bottom-up one. And there are concepts, clear concepts, that can also be appealing if you can demonstrate to the people that as you shake up the economy, if you take the Mheshimiwa Musalia's approach, that he's concerned about issue of debt and macroeconomic management, that you can shake up the system so that you have enough headroom to invest sufficiently to draw in all these people. That way you are going to bring in from the bottom as well. I'm just saying in a sketch. But there is nothing intrinsically wrong with saying I'll start at the top, I'll start at the bottom. You just have to prove that in fact which one will work by explaining in a bit more detail. We have wasted too much time on that. What's the agenda that Kenyans want? Poverty has been increasing as it is, so we must demonstrate that we are going to grow incomes, that we are going to reduce inequality, that we are going to have a more just system where everybody feels the pinch or does not. Those are things that we have almost forgotten.
Gentlemen, another question of the day before we get to what Kenyans are saying. Is Deputy President William Ruto a victim of the state? Is Deputy President William Ruto a victim of the state? Speak to us and send your feedback on our WhatsApp number 0785-9395, 0785-9395. Quickly, Boniface Mugendi from Meru says, the state is out to humiliate and undermine Deputy President William Ruto. All in all, we leave it to God. Someone else is saying here, still Boniface Mugendi, One Kenya Alliance. One Kenya Alliance, this is Kosti from Egerton University in Joro campus. One Kenya Alliance is the weakest one in history. They will fall. William Ruto needs no alliance to win this election. Someone else is saying hi to Gabriel and Bunyasi. He said, Gabriel and Bunyasi are very good English.
Thank you.
Well, someone else is saying, well, the Deputy President is playing sympathy cards and is not an honest politician. They haven't really said their name there. Someone else is saying, let me look at that. Somebody is just asking Bunyasi, why don't you just run for presidency?
I'm trying to be governor. That is good enough.
Someone else saying, Raila is the 5th president of Kenya. Mwanze kuzoea mapema. Watch this space.
Remember what I told you. Mathematical chance. Mathematical chance.
Okay, now let's take a look at what happened to the Deputy President of the airport. And this is a reaction from Uganda's Foreign Affairs Minister. Take a look.
It is very clear as the skies, as clear as the water in the glass, is that we do not interfere in the internal affairs of any country whatsoever.
Nimekuwa naibu wa rais kwa miaka 9. Na nimetembea nchi nyingi. Kwa ziara rasmi na kwa ziara yake binafsi. Hakuna wakati hata mmoja nimewahi kuambiwa ninahitaji kibali kutoka mahala popote. Right? So ni sheria gani hii ambayo imeanza sasa?
Clearly, Deputy President with no wings to fly. What do you read of this whole situation?
Let me
Perhaps you could go for
a very quick bite on it.
Yes.
When the DP was saying that, I think that he had forgotten history. And I'm not going to go, just Kenyan history. There was a time when the then deputy, he had been deputy president, vice president Oginga, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, was going to travel, I think, to Canada or somewhere overseas. And he was denied exit at the airport. And the excuse that was given that this is a busy time, it's planting time. We can't afford to have anybody leave the country. We all need. Now, obviously, it was, people are saying, really? But clearly, it's something that's already been in the books. And I would dare say that DP should be prepared for more such tactics that are going to come from our own book, not anybody else's book. That's one. And two, I do not believe that he could have left his office to go if he had any inkling that he would be stopped. I do not believe that, because if that had happened, you'd probably have gotten it done. In fact, the pictures were showing him in approach. You could see great confidence with his team and so on and so forth. They'll say, hey, you can't take off. So I believe that it's just a tactic by somebody to say, we're giving him too much latitude to come back and beat us with it. So again, they say, we shall cut his wings. Now, I find that unfair to other coalitions. Reason being, they are creating a sympathy space for him. People are going to say, oh, this guy is really struggling. Look at all these guys here. Nobody's doing anything to them. They're doing only to him, and so on. And then they begin leaning toward that. That sympathy card is what got them into the presidency in 2013. And now we're going to begin playing it in a different way. And now, if I was President Uhuru's advisor, I would say, give the guy space. Flying your own spies ahead of him. Probably they have them. Let him come back and tell you what he has done. But don't stop him. Don't let him create a sympathy, playing victim, as you said. But that space of sympathy is what propelled that agenda of 2013 and got these guys in. I don't think we should go that route. I think they're empowering him much more. He's getting publicity, he's not paying for it now. You know, that's, he's sitting back and he's getting all that publicity. And I think it's a bad policy, personally. I think
bad policy.
Yeah, I would not want to be in that position.
Gabriel, as an analyst, from an analyst point of view, what do you read of this?
Well, Lincoln, if you are to be honest, first of all, agreeing with what Mheshimiwa has said to a certain point, that there's no way the deputy president would have left his office heading to the airport, you know, if probably, he knew things were needed or some paperwork was needed. Now, the deputy president spoke yesterday, I think, in one of the channels, one of the radio stations and or TV stations, and what he said, he came out clearly and said, for the past 9 years, I've traveled, I've never needed, So analytically, there is either a mismatch or a disconnect. And the thing you never question, and Lincoln make a habit of this, when you go out there, never sometimes question the art of statecraft. Mheshimiwa will tell you he's lived longer. You've heard somebody say, he is the deputy president of Kenya. He cannot just wake up and leave. There is an element of truth in that statement. What if? The what if factor is being brought in. More than anything, I would really hope it's not politics being played. Because if you play politics with such an occurrence, it will actually end up in what Mheshimiwa is saying. He will harvest a lot of sympathy. Because it's like, guys, I am the deputy president. For 9 years, nobody has ever asked me a question. That he will harvest sympathy. But if there is an element of serious concern, which the state intelligence may actually not be in a position to say, then I think it needs to be communicated to him.
Gabriel.
That is the analysis of such a situation, because you never know.
No, it's like it has become a state-to-state affair. We've
Yes.
seen the Ugandan government weigh in on this matter.
Yeah.
Will this in any way strain the diplomatic ties between Kenya and Uganda?
Lincoln, I would be very afraid, and that's why I'm saying sometimes let's not play a lot of politics, mainly when we are dealing with, mostly we are dealing with our biggest trading partners
in the world.
Let us try, and that's why I'm saying I think he went to Zanzibar and came back. So I am just praying analytically that there is no politics behind it. Let us assume there was an intelligent or a message that was coming, or that came from intelligence, to say this trip probably we have found, or there could be reasons, and Mheshimiwa will tell you there could be reasons which may need to be communicated to him. Failure to which I think we are also going to put our greatest trading partner in a precarious position.
Binyasi,
And that's something we don't want to do.
Final thoughts. We have less than a minute. Final thoughts on this whole situation.
I think that the state should relax. I think the state should use its intelligence, and they can. I'm sure there are many mechanisms, and I like to agree with my colleague has brought in the dimension of you don't mess up with your biggest trading partner around the world. The reason Americans and Chinese are now talking, they quarrel, but they are talking.
Yeah.
They have because of trade. And the Mamambogas and the Wanjikus want us out there to improve their lot. However, we are going to do it up here. We can't let interpersonal differences get into the way. But I think will it be a lasting problem? It probably they will pepper of it. I think.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'd like to convey our apologies. Kaiti Member of Parliament Joshua Kimeli was expected to join us, but he couldn't make it. Well, that's it for tonight. Tipping Point comes to an end. I am Lincoln Ombogo. Our sign language interpreter is Tracy Dorcas. My guests tonight have been these wonderful gentlemen, Gabriel Muthama and Honorable Sakwe Bunyasi.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Good evening.